Nice frosty morning to be working on the GMC. I am so looking forward to getting the front back on this so that you can get better thumbnails. I'm really looking forward to that. Had one or two comments about the floor being completely flat on the Facebook images and stuff like that. Firstly, I appreciate the comments. I don't always appreciate the way they're written, but I guess that's just the internet. There is going to be a structure underneath of this. I was making it last time, so I'm planning on extending some 25mm pieces under the cab that way forward. I'll probably get to that today, and that structure is partly there to support the floor, but mostly there to support the seats, because the center seat is going to have the seat belt attached to it, and the outer seats, the buckle is going to be attached to it as well, and it's going to help form the structure which supports those. So I've got both the doors installed. The shut lines are looking as good as they did before. Fit pretty well, no clearance issues. This side is a little bit different. Going to have to work on the fitment. I think the cab might have moved a bit, so I'm glad I've noticed that before. Welding the floor in just needs a little bit of a tweak here and there, but I can manage that, that's no problem. The floor's looking really good. I'm happy with how the fit is. Just a little bit more work to do before I go about installing it. Extra framework and stuff like that. So I just took the door off and realised that there was a way to lift the hinges. So yeah, it's not perfect, but it's looking a lot better. It's no good getting it perfect, you just need to get it somewhere close in order to verify that the cab isn't actually bent. So I feel like I can proceed now. So this is the piece which is going to go forward to back, and that's how that's going to go in there. Tweak that up a bit. So the idea is it stays straight. It just saves me having to line up a whole bunch of pieces. So what's happened is I've spent the last half an hour putting these beautiful chamfers on the end of here, only to realise that I've put them on upside down. Times 4. So that's a bit of a... Guess we're having square ends now, huh? So I wanted the ends to be nice and beveled, chamfered at 45 degrees, and I put them on the wrong side. If I'd have shortened them any longer, they wouldn't have fit, so that's how they're going to be. I don't think I've ever spent so long having to undo something. Pain in the arse, but hey, it happens, right? Just made a mistake. So I think I'm going to line this up, get some tacks in, make it nice and straight. So having got the front nice and straight, I had this bar on top a moment ago, and I've done the same thing here but on the bottom to get the tail end piece straight. So I'll just put a couple of tacks in on the top there and then proceed to get the driver's side one in. I feel like it's going to produce a nice piece of structure in here. I'll eventually tie it into the front pieces there. Whether I put a piece going across or not, I don't know. It's almost like it's calling for a cross perhaps, but straight piece from here to there wouldn't hurt. Point is, the floor's going to tie it in really well. Right, get the second piece in. So this has had the effect I'm looking for. This is going to be tacked on, stitch welded into the floor, and the deflection which was in the 20mm piece before is gone. There's some at the front, but that's going to be taken out by that return, which is going to strengthen it up. Plus the fact I'm going to take a straight piece of box section across there and tie these into that box section. That's going to give it that bit more fabric. Pretty happy about that. Pretty happy about how that's going. So the only thing really I need to think about is the structure. Now there is going to be a structure under the seats, between the seats and the top of the floor, and then that will tie into these pieces. Given that you're going to be looking at having the most structure at the back of the seats, I think we're winning. So whilst the chili that Sam made is cooking in the microwave, I thought I'd get some welds down. Nice burn-in with those. Pity they've got to be ground flat on the top. I've got these inside ones done as well. just the awkward underneath ones to do after my chili. Got some nice welds in under there. It's just tied into the floor real nice. Just spent a little bit of time rust removing. So I have decided that I'm going to take the cab off. I've juiced up the old nuts, the fastening nuts, and I'm going to have a go at that at some point, just plan it all out. I think I'm going to set the floor back in and see where we're at with that. But this is really stable. It's nicely tied in, because when the floor's in I shall cut across here and do a weld seam the whole way across. Do some little fill-in patches. But yeah, just over by that side, spent some time pulling out the bits of rusty metal what need to come out. I ought to spend some time doing that on this side as well. Put a new piece in. But I think what I'm going to do is these pieces here, which need to be replaced, I'm going to do that replacement after the fact, after the floor's in. So that's some POR 15 on those parts there, and a bit of housekeeping, a bit of cleanup. I'm pretty happy with how everything's gone today. The frame is complete now. It's really solid. I mean, when the floor was in, when the floor was in before, it was solid anyway. But these will tie in nicely with these pieces. Overall, I'm very happy with how it looks. Of course, I've taken these pieces of rust out, ready to repair when the new floor is in. Next step though, next time I'm going to undo the bolts on the back, and then I'm going to sit the cab, I'm going to move it backwards for its length, then I can get to all of the parts of the frame and get that all painted, and then just work my way up and down the frame, getting it all painted and done. Of course the transmission mount, but the long-term debacle about my brake booster from LMC, it's in the country now, so when I go down to Essex next Friday I'll pick that up. So the next time I work on the truck, and I can make sure that it's not going to interfere with where the transmission mountings are going to go. That's why I haven't done those yet. And plus it's going to be so much easier to weld those all in with the cab out of the way. All this time I didn't think I was going to take the cab out, and it is going to come out, going to come off. So it's a bit of an indulgence for me to have a go at these, have these seats in, see what they're like. I'm really pleased with how they fit. I just got them on a couple of 2x4s. It's actually interesting to see how the cab's going to shape up. I'm going to have a seat now. So it's kind of a offset seated position. Seat is about as far back as it's going to go. Actually the steering wheel goes up a little bit. Plenty of space though. Really pleased. But I'm pretty happy with how these seats look. Got them 4 inches off the floor, and I think that's actually about right. I think they probably want a little bit of rake. So I'm having some artwork put on the doors. Paul is drawing that out for me at the minute. It's going to probably happen next year. So I kind of feel like I want to fill these holes or do something with that, because it's right where the artwork wants to go. So that's why I'm thinking about using these mirrors, make some nice new frameworks for them to go there. I think that's where they're going to want to go. I don't know. The other one's cracked. She didn't put that in the ad. And like she said, oh, it's in the picture. And I'm like, oh. Just had them anyway. I don't think I've got a couple what a subscriber gave to me, which go on there. But because it's, I think the flatbed back, it's going to suit more these West Coast style mirrors. Anyway, that's kind of an interlude into what I want the patina of second-hand stuff, not to the extent that there's a crack on it, but yeah, it's a starting point. So all tools are packed away, all the cameras away, go back to home. I want to say thanks for watching. Please make comments and subscribe if you can. Get to see this project done. I feel like installing the seats was a bit of a boost today.